Hey, it's Sarah from She Holds Dearly, and today I want to talk about beekeeping, beginning beekeeping for anyone who is just a nature enthusiast or an overachieving gardener. I want to tell you my journey with beekeeping and tell you the steps you need to kind of get started. So I've been interested in beekeeping for a decade now, and I have to warn you, it is more work than a cat or say chickens. So if you're a little nervous about bees, I would start a little bit a simpler creature to take care of. But I still suggest jumping into beekeeping if you're interested. It is very rewarding, and I think you're gonna love it. First off, I would begin by researching the topic. So when I first got interested in it, I had stacks like this from the library, books that I was reading, and I was watching YouTube videos, and I began to understand how to care for these creatures, the things that can go wrong, the way they communicate, the best way to get the most honey from them, all those kinds of things. And that was helpful, but if you can find a local beekeeping club, you've got to join the club. That is by far the best thing I ever did to prepare for beekeeping. They have amazing resources. They get involved with your state laws with beekeeping. I had a mentor that would come out once a month and help me once I had my bees set up. I took classes from my club. That was the best thing I ever did, was join the beekeeping club, my local one. Once you are sure you want to do this, you're going to need to get some things purchased. And you're going to probably run about $500 that you need to put down to start this hobby. So first off is going to be your bees, and those will be $100 to $200. Some feed stores will purchase bees for you and have them delivered at the store for you. I order mine through a local beekeeper who I met through my beekeeping club, and I think maybe you could even order them online. So the trick with ordering your bees though is that you can really only get them once a year. So I needed to get my order in by January, so you gotta think ahead. This is a lot of planning, and they come in early April. If you're not ready in early April, you probably aren't getting bees until the next year, until next spring. So plan accordingly. Okay, second of all, you're gonna need your attire. So some beekeepers, they think it's really cool to just wear a veil or just calmly care for their bees, and they tell me, you know, I don't really get stung, not very often. And my answer is always, my goal is to never get stung by a bee, so I do wear full gear. You wanna get a beekeeping suit. And the last one I purchased, I found at the feed store. So I would check at your local feed store. The big thing you want to do is it needs to be white or light yellow. The bees do better with that color, and they're not as threatened for some reason. Also, you want cuffs on your arms and your feet. You're going to pull the legs of your suit over the top of your rubber boots or whatever you're wearing. You want to seal off every area where a bee could get into your suit. You also will need a veil. If you can find one that's attached to the suit, I think that's the best. I really like that setup the best. And then you're going to want to invest in gloves that come up to here with elastic, and you want the ones made out of goat skin. The goat skin is just that perfect thickness that stops the stinger from going into your skin but still allows you to work. So I love the goat skin gloves. And then you will need a hive tool, and those are used for prying open the boxes. The bees seal up their box, and every time you got to get in there, you got to break the seal with that hive tool. You must have a hive tool if you have anything else. The other thing people like to buy is a smoker. And as I went on, I ended up not using my smoker as much, but if you're a first-time beekeeper, it's really fun to have a smoker. So just get one if you can afford it. And the last thing you're gonna need is, of course, a place for your bees to live. So the most common hive, and it's probably the one that you would recognize, it's called a Langstroth. And there's boxes that are stacked on each other. That's the one that I use. I use the 10 frame size. There's some other ones, but that's a pretty standard one. It's a great one to start with. So you can order those as kits where you build them. We saved money that way by buying kits, and we put them together with the kids. It was an evening project, and you just need a finished nailer to put them together, and then you can paint them any color you want. People get really creative. They do beautiful, I've seen copper roofs built for the top of their hives. It's really beautiful in a garden. And you can also just purchase your hive all pre-built as well. And I will link that below, just some quick ones off Amazon. Okay, so in April, when you get the call that your bees are coming in, it's so exciting. We homeschool, so we canceled school that day. That was our school day with setting up the bees. I actually invited a whole bunch of families to come over, and I did a demonstration for them, and I'll show you pictures. But you want to pick them up early in the morning, because the hotter it gets, the more feisty they'll get. They want to get out, and so you want to do it kind of in the cool of the morning. Get there as soon as you can. I like getting there at like 8 a.m. And try to, if you don't have a pickup truck, borrow one, because your bees are not going to get out of it's called a package, and it's a screened box that they come in. You get 10,000 bees with a can of sugar water that's right in the middle, and your queen, who is essential to keeping the hive alive. Your queen is in a little queen cage in the box. So your bees are not going to get out of that box while you're driving, but other bees are loose in the area, and they smell the other bees, and there's always a few just random rogue bees flying around all these packages of bees that people are taking away, and you're probably going to get a bee or two in your car, which could be a disaster while you're driving. So pickup truck, put the bees in the back, and drive them home. The other thing you could do is maybe put them in like a big Rubbermaid bin. That could work. Once you get them home, they are actually very docile. This is the most calm that your bees will probably ever be, because they don't have a home to defend. And so you'll see in the pictures, I did not use my gloves or my suit. I just had my veil on when I transferred them to the hive. So I did light up the smoker because it was fun, and I had people over and I was showing them, and so I did smoke them. I also mixed some sugar water, just 1 part water, 1 part sugar, just the cane sugar, and I put it in a spray bottle, and I sprayed down all the frames, just kind of like a welcome home gift to them. And they get all excited, and they're eating the sugar water, and it kind of just makes them want to stay there and not take off. So the last thing, once you take the can of sugar water out, you shake these bees out, and they actually just come out like liquid. Almost all of them. The other ones, just lean your package up against the hive, and then over the next day they'll move in. The last step is to add your queen into the hive, and she comes in a little cage all of her own, and there's a plug in it, and a lot of times it'll be a mini marshmallow or something similar like that, something sugary that can plug the hole for a few days. And you take your queen and you put her between 2 of the middle frames, and just pinch the 2 frames together, and it will hold that little cage in place. And over the next 3 or 4 days, your bees are going to eat through whatever that sugary plug is and free the queen. And then hopefully everyone's happy at that point, and they decide to get organized and start developing the honeycomb and getting the nectar. And by August, you should have a nice supply of honey. Now, you won't probably be able to harvest that first year, I'm sorry. Plan on the next year. And that is a whole nother fun experience, to harvest your own honey. We've done it several times. It's one of the most rewarding things I've done with gardening and homesteading, is harvesting our own honey. So I hope that this kind of simplifies it for you, and that you are more interested in beekeeping. So thanks for stopping by the farmhouse. And there's more information in a blog post that I'm going to link below.
Those bees are all over that back tray.
Yeah, she did. She's still over. Okay.
One's done. Hey, Miss Beekeeper. Good job.